Hello, and welcome to Podcasting as Praxis. I'm David. I'm here this week with Alistair.
Hello.
James.
Hello.
Jamie.
All right.
And Rob.
This is Zulu Shriek.
Fucking hell, man. Oh.
Really?
Yeah.
Old Eagle Eyes over there.
We have we've just endured a viewing of something we'll talk about later that was fucking hard work. Yeah. At the moment, I don't think I've fully processed it, and I don't think we're ready to talk about it at this point in the episode, so...
When we finished, I said, I'm emotionally, spiritually, and physically bereft, and Rob just piped up saying, I've done my job then. So that actually set the tone for what was following later.
Yeah. We'll get on to that in a bit. But I suppose first off, we might as well just dip into some news stuff. Rob, what have you got for us?
Yeah. Well, I'd first like to start off by saying a hearty fuck you to British Gas, a sub-company of a wonderful entity called Centrica, who are about to fire and then rehire on much worse conditions up to 20,000 of their staff. Essentially, the people, if you've ever had a British Gas engineer in your home to fix things, those are the guys who are getting sacked.
There's a lot of that going around lately, isn't there?
Yeah. Well, it's also, I'd like to point out, the guys who have continued working during the global pandemic, going into people's homes to make sure that their boilers are not going to explode on them. Just to really kind of make clear the injustice of this.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucking appalling. I mean, it's been on the cards for a while now, this whole thing. Under the new contract, full-time British Gas engineers would be required to work 3 extra hours a week, and they would not get paid higher rates when they're working on weekends and public holidays. And overall, for most of them, it would mean a 15% pay cut. And British Gas have essentially said, take it or leave it. And if you don't take it, then we will fire you and simply not hire you back.
I wonder what the Labour leaders had to say about this.
Well, weirdly enough, far be it from me to defend Keith, but he has actually said that this is not good and should not be done. So weirdly enough, he did actually take something approaching a stand here.
That sounds good. Did he support strike action?
I can't remember that, so I'm not going to say yes or no, but I think... Okay. Well, then this...
And even if he did,
well, I mean,
he actually didn't.
David, to be fair, negotiations were still ongoing, so...
Supporting strikes is wrong when negotiations are ongoing.
Oh, fucking hell, man.
Yeah, although they have been formally on strike with 89% of the GMB part of the British Gas agreeing to a strike in December. So April 14 will be their 43rd day on strike. And that will also be the day where the actual fire and rehire will take place or not, if they can be pressured into not doing that, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Up the workers.
And just so we're very clear, this is not because British Gas is in financial trouble or the parent company Centrica that owns them is in trouble. They're not. In 2018, they raised energy prices twice and cut 4,000 staff in the same year, while the CEO of Centrica, so the group owner, got a pay rise of 40% and now pockets 4.1 million quid in salary. I think that's excluding options and that kind of stuff.
Well, it sounds like a lesson the Labour parties are refusing to learn. British Gas have taken full hold of, which is to never let a crisis go to waste.
Yeah, exactly.
I was actually wondering, is this related to the bonfire of worker protections that has followed Brexit?
I think it's part of it. I know there's a big wave of fire and rehire going on in like a lot of companies at the moment, so I'm not sure if it's directly related to Brexit, but I think this process really started before, they were making these noises before, so I'm not sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is related. I mean, it's definitely related to the Tories being in government.
I mean, I think the main
what everyone should do is just
kiss
their boss. It's perfectly legal. So,
kiss
the boss inside your head. That's right,
and also the one that you work for.
But you can see what you like. This will be cut.
Yeah, so just like as a brief thing, if whoever's listening, if you're renting or weirdly enough you own a home, which I wouldn't understand, but sure, why not?
You should
Kiss.
be a landlord.
The landlord inside your head, yes.
Hang on, hang on. I've heard of living rent-free inside someone's head, right? But living like with rent inside my own head, this is getting a bit weird. This is getting a bit French postmodern post-structuralist here.
It's ideology.
David, who's the landlord inside my head?
The cat?
I think the cat. Yeah, I think I heard the cat back on the background.
That was actually kids outside screaming in the playground outside my fucking... Like, that's just going to be a thing. Apologies to whoever's editing.
Well, here's a question, though. Do you think the landlord in Ian Austin's head allows pets?
But yeah, if you,
I think
if
that
you
one
do,
might have made a cut, actually.
Yeah. Oh,
but yeah, if your supplier is British Gas and you can switch contracts, do it and tell them to get fucked because you support strike action. There's also a couple of petitions and stuff you can sign online. We'll put some links to those in the show notes. And you should, if for some reason you know your local gas engineers, support them in whatever way you can. I think even with GMB, I'm not sure, but I think you can donate to their strike fund or something. So if you've got some pennies to spare, please go and do that.
Yes. Yeah, what you should do as an act of solidarity is when they're on strike, right, break your boiler and phone up British Gas about it. I don't see any downsides to this plan whatsoever.
Well, it is getting warmer.
That's true. You don't need your boiler anymore.
Yeah, you don't need boiler, you don't need warm water. What do you need that for?
Your boiler needs you more than you need it.
Well, speaking of boiling, what about the planet, Rob?
Oh, that's going very well. There was a report released this week by the Rainforest Alliance and a group of other NGOs that since 2015, so when we signed the Toothless Paris Climate Accords, they had the world's 60 largest banks have funded fossil fuel projects worth somewhere around $4 trillion US. So
that's good. Well, I mean, they've got the cherry trees in Japan have blossomed early this year. Earliest blossom for 1,200 years, which is, I assume, only a good thing.
Yeah. It's in the song, isn't it? Like, world's on fire, how about yours? That's the way I like it. And the cherries are blossoming early in Japan. Like, that's, all good. We're great.
Do you reckon there's like one listener out there for whom the cherry blossoms are early in Japan is like their code phrase and they're just going wild right now?
I don't know. But Jamie's been
on their way to
Kiss
the landlord and or boss.
I was about to say Jamie's been quiet. I think you might have activated him, but I don't know. Ash, if you listen to this, stand down. Zulu Tango.
I'm fucking trying to remember the fucking cool sign of that guy from the show.
They were
Bravo.
Zulu. They were all Zulu something. Anyway, but we'll get to that.
Guard in your head is.
That one you should definitely
Kiss.
But yeah, so the $4 trillion is not just for like the companies themselves specifically. The oil exploring companies have, through these banks, raised $1.5 trillion specifically for expanding drilling into new areas, including tar sands, the Arctic, because the Arctic ice is melting, so we can get to more places to get oil out, which is really good.
How convenient.
Yeah. The biggest banks that are funding this are JP Morgan Chase and Citigroup, both of whom got huge, vast sums of money from the American government in 2008 to stay alive. And we, of course, didn't ask anything in return because why would we?
What the Americans did, they almost somewhat nationalized climate catastrophe.
Yeah, and then just turbocharge it because that's cool.
Yeah.
But I don't want to pretend this is just the Americans. Barclays is one of the top funders of fracking outside the US, and RBC in particular is up to its ears in pipeline funding. Their total investments in fossil fuels has actually gone up from 30 to 39 billion in the last 4 years. So, next time you see one of these pricks talk about how they find the climate so important, you can
debate them.
And we all know the way to counteract this is to change all of your shopping bags from plastic bags to tote bags.
Yeah, and that's why. Yeah, I mean, it was really worth those cuts to Social Security here in the UK.
Yes.
Thank you, Lib Dems. Thank you.
But it's okay. We got rid of straws, right? That's part of it.
It's nothing but, torch fire lit uplands from now on.
Fucking libs love that shit. Being able to say, we charge you 5p for a plastic bag, you cannot get plastic straws anymore. That's it, everyone. We did it. Slap on the back for everyone involved. Let's go home. Oh, what do you mean? What do you mean the oceans are still on fire?
Yeah. I mean, anybody who's just still, that's not to say you shouldn't do things if you can in your personal life, but the personal responsibility narrative on climate change drives me fucking wild, and it's of course why the libs are at it. But I don't want you to worry, because we have another big climate summit here in the UK later in Glasgow.
Sorry, where? I was just exactly about to say, sorry, where's that?
I don't know. Fuck you. I'm happy.
Are you hang on, dude.
Are you fucking high, mate? Like,
we're getting to the bottom of this one. Where is it, Rob?
It's near Hartlepool.
Fucking hell, man. Honestly, that's the future capital of the independent Soviet Oblast, Strathclyde.
It's been a while since I've had adventures in pronunciation, so I thought...
I know, but fucking hell, mate. Do you know what I mean? Half the podcast lives there.
Inevitably, everyone in Glasgow will be on this show.
I just, whatever, you do a whole Sculptor episode and then I just get slightly, I don't know what's wrong with me.
Basically, this is what we get for not inviting Eleanor on this episode.
Yeah. Yes.
He's had to fit the mispronunciation in somewhere. Oh, dear.
Okay, hang on, wait, I've got one last question. Rob,
no.
What's the capital of Scotland?
Sterling, isn't it?
I mean, that's one way to get out of it, but no, it's not. Try again.
It's Edinburgh.
How is it you can pronounce that fine, right, but you can't do Glasgow?
This is what they teach me in my haunted castle here in Switzerland.
This is why we left. This is why we left the EU.
That's the problem. Glasgow doesn't have a castle, so Rob has no reason to know about it.
Makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, all right. Glad we resolved that one. Thank you, Rob.
But yeah, anyway, so the big climate summit is being held, and to celebrate that and to show that the UK is very serious about its climate commitments. You remember a while ago we talked about that the UK is opening a new coal mine. They're also...
I forgot about that.
They're also giving out a few eyebrows, right?
They're also giving out more licenses for offshore oil and gas drilling because that's very compatible with our climate goals and needs.
Fucking A, good. Just what I like to see. Aberdeen thinking it's important even more than it already does. Fucking hell.
So, yeah, the UK Energy Secretary, Kwasi Kwarteng, said that he would follow a different path to sustainability.
I'm sorry, but he fucking nails Kwasi Kwarteng, but...
I'm whimsical.
Do you know, I've just realised something. That we've been looking at this whole oil and gas thing wrong. What's happened is Westminster's dealers have basically said, listen, we're really struggling with this pandemic. And they said, don't worry, mate, we'll give you a subsidy. We'll make sure that there's a lot more demand for coke in Aberdeen. And that's it. That's how it's all come together.
Oh, God.
Fucking game of telephone is how we've ended up with more coal mines.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would not actually surprise me.
I just love that we had to take that much run up to get to a pun.
Yeah, but I think it's important to note in defense of this ghastly thing is that the chief executive of Oil and Gas UK, the representative body, said ongoing exploration and production of fossil fuels is compatible with net zero emissions. We are pleased that the government has recognised this.
This is another thing that libs love is net zero emissions, because as soon as you actually try and quantify that as something that actually means something, you end up running into all kinds of issues with externalities. If
you buy a Tesla, then that offsets because the Teslas unemit carbon. Do you know what I mean? Don't they?
Yeah.
Isn't that what happens when something burns? It sucks carbon in. Especially if it's filled with you know what I mean, cartel product.
To be fair, if Elon Musk was in the car when it went up, that might actually make a difference just from energy impact. But here's a kind of thing that I'm wondering about this. So. You're fucking kidding me. Excuse me 1 second. No, okay, it's fine. No, my Audacity stopped and looked like it wasn't recording there. I just had a fucking heart attack, but it's not. It seemed to buffer and just froze for a second. And that's completely fucking thrown me. I'm so sorry. What fuck? No, where were we?
Talking about apartheid.
No, we were talking about burning Teslas.
No, it's gone. Whatever it was, it's just the fear got in me there as I thought.
No, sadly, James. I say sadly, the cars are still catching fire.
Well, if this is
at least the rockets aren't. That's all I've got to say.
Well, this is weird.
Didn't one blow up again this week?
It did last week
in really heavy fog.
Yeah,
and they were like, "Well, we think it's blown up." We can't actually tell.
that massive fireball through the mists could just be completely just randomly associated.
It could just be a gender reveal. But they couldn't tell immediately whether it had blown up or not because of the fog and because the fucking onboard telemetry is transmitted by Bluetooth or something. And once the rocket gets more than 30 foot off the ground, they lose the signal.
Maybe it was one of just
misconnect my Bluetooth to the rocket that's going up nearby.
Maybe it was like one of those Assassin's Creed things, and the rocket was just hiding in really tall grass so we couldn't see it.
Rob, you just relate everything back to Assassin's Creed these days. I swear to God.
I'm just picturing Elon Musk with his phone trying to stay on the Bluetooth by just really quickly climbing a ladder alongside the rocket.
He's trying to fucking download Britney Spears' Toxic or some shit from the.
No, I'm seeing.
As the rocket takes off, it pairs with your phone, and the device name is the fucking XR12 or some shit. And as it's coming back down, your phone's trying to pair with flaming wreckage. This looks like a bad sign.
See, I'm just picturing the reason it blew up is Elon Musk is in the toilets, right? And he's on his phone, and he's on Pornhub, and he doesn't realise he's still connected to Bluetooth, except it comes back into signal right at that point, and the thing that caused it to explode was just a massive fucking bass beat going through of dum dum da dum, like the Pornhub intro. All right, never mind then.
No, it's good. But
add that. I'm glad that after fucking dozens of episodes, we finally circled back to Pornhub as quality content.
This is what gets built up after a Scott Paul episode.
But it's good that we're already talking about Elon Musk and rockets, because this is the next thing I did.
When are we ever not? That motherfucker just won't go away.
It's almost as though the oligarchs who rule our society and are destroying our planet are an ever-present overbearing force in our lives on a fundamental structural level.
Yeah, but most of them aren't on Twitter. Rocket. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, most of them aren't on Twitter, constantly fucking trying to score Reddit points or whatever the fuck he's actually. I don't understand the purpose he thinks he's serving with his Twitter account.
He's the Martin Shkreli of billionaires. That's basically it.
Well, I mean, for one, he
Martin Shkreli?
No. Look, let's just leave that name as it was. I think it's perfectly
No. If I get given fucking shit for a minor city in Scotland.
There's a difference between Martin, whatever the fuck his surname is, and fucking Glasgow, mate.
Okay. Not to me, there isn't. Not to me.
Was Martin Shrek Tickler ever the fucking European city of culture? I don't think he was.
Oh, fucking hell.
Martin Shkreli.
Nailed it.
I'm not going to lie, I prefer
This is like fucking, this is like if they took a load of acid before recording Sesame Street one day. Like.
Oh.
All right. Well, we know.
John Renshaw's going to turn up to teach us numbers in a minute.
Right. I think we've established who the fucking Oscar the Grouch is on the podcast, then. And Rob is very clearly Big Bird. And I think me and David have Bert and Ernie energy going on here. So who's Alistair?
Count.
I liked that.
No, but I wanted to get back into Elon Musk because he's got yet another business scheme that is actually doing something with the rockets that keep exploding. He's building a new satellite.
He's founded FlamingShrapnel.com.
For all your gender reveal needs.
Every single little piece of wreckage falling from the sky on fire is now an NFT.
No, the thing he's building is so that more of the world has access to NFT bidding and technology.
Good.
There's a new space. Yeah, because
I'm trying to picture what kind of marvelous fucking invention has the real world Tony Stark brought us this time, and my first thought was the internet, but for birds.
You're very close.
Oh, fuck. Oh.
Not again! Jamie, you're in fucking danger at this. Oh my god. Just fucking put the lid down. Put it down. Down.
Oh, fucking hell. Right, internet for birds, what?
No, this is a new thing he's doing called Starlink, which is a...
I think you're going to say Starling.
No, Starlink with a K. Like the K in Glasgow. Because...
Is this just a fucking episode where we don't know the name for anything? We'll have to wear fucking name badges with, like, the pronunciation underneath.
I honestly think watching this stupid fash program has brain damaged us somehow.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Starlink is a new thing he's building, which is a big network of low Earth orbit satellite networks, which are essentially big constellations of lots of smaller satellites that are meant to deliver high-speed, low-latency internet access around the world. So this is Tony Stark shit, definitely.
Isn't there famously a problem where if you launch too much shit into space, it starts becoming a problem getting more shit into space?
Yes, that is exactly where the story is going.
And this is where FlamingShrapnel.com comes in.
This is FlamingShrapnel.com is definitely something for you to sell on the doorstep, Jamie. I mean, it's wow.
That was a good callback. I appreciated it.
Yeah, I'd be an expert on that as well with my fucking certificate in global communications that I got that time for doing JavaScript pop-ups.
So he has 1,300 of these satellites, Starlink satellites in orbit, and he's adding them at a rate of 120 a month. I'm not sure how, because the rockets keep exploding. But
the ladder that he uses to pair with the Bluetooth, obviously. I'm just picturing these rockets keep exploding, and he has to explain that when he said low Earth orbit, what he meant was like they're all on poles.
Yeah. So
it becomes easier to launch the rockets when you just put your new rocket on top of the wreckage of all the previous rockets.
It's kind of, to be honest, it's kind of like the song, "The rockets come down, and when they go up, that's not my department," says Elon fucking Musk.
Anyway, so what he wants to do, he has already a whole bunch in orbit, but he wants them to move them from low Earth orbit
to underground. He's gonna downgrade from a network of satellites to cables, I think they're called.
No. That wouldn't be complicated enough. He's got another use for the Boring Company, which is to drill giant tunnels around the Earth to create in-Earth orbit. The satellites just hurtling along these passages.
James, that's the Hyperloop.
The satellites just travel through the tunnels, pushing a big crate full of cocaine from Mexico.
More genius ideas from Werner von Clown.
Yeah,
nice.
Not only will Elon Musk make anime real, he will also make the Hollow Earth real.
But anyway, so what he's definitely
does the Boring Company possess the technology to hollow out a bag? That's the question.
Well, they've not yet discovered the technology to line a bag with foil. Yeah.
Anyway, so what he wants to do is he has an existing network that is about 1,200 kilometers above the Earth, but he wants to push them down, use the little rockets, whatever they have, to push them down to 550 kilometers above the Earth so they can be part of this Starlink network. However, there's a problem. Jeff Bezos has his own satellite network at 600 kilometers above the Earth.
Does he also have a fucking lair in orbit? With a big laser? I imagine that's the kind of thing. I mean,
just Jeff Bezos aboard the Death Egg.
He's got the right head shape for it. He just needs the mustache.
So Jeff Bezos is very pissed at Elon Musk because they're worried, not incorrectly, that if there's too many of these, literally tens of thousands of these small satellites zipping around at between 550 and 600 kilometers an hour, that they're going to start banging into each other.
Wait, what? Kilometers per hour?
Above the Earth, whatever. It's and he already has, or Amazon, I should say, he has already been launching satellites for a while now, and currently has 3,200 satellites in low Earth orbit. So it's getting kind of crowded up there.
How many spaceships has Jeff Bezos blown up?
Not as many, I suspect.
Do you know, guys, we literally have the War in Heaven launched by our billionaires at this point.
Yes.
What? This is the shittest ever cyberpunk I've ever come across.
It's gonna be fucking funny though when Elon Musk finally decides to fuck off to Mars with Grimes or whatever, and they can't actually clear the atmosphere because there's just a fucking lid that they've built. It's just tons of satellites just literally touching each other, just forming a fucking Dyson sphere around the planet.
I was going to say, yeah. Dyson sphere for the Earth to keep us on.
But Kessler syndrome is actually... Kessler syndrome is actually really good. What?
I was going to say, you're about to come out in defense of Kessler syndrome.
Yeah, Kessler syndrome is good because it means that the rest of the universe will not be subjected to whatever fucking horrifying society Elon Musk tries to build on Mars.
Look,
on the off chance he's successful, on the off chance, no other fucking species needs to know this.
Look, David, I know last episode I proposed doing Scottish independence as a containment method for Scottish Labour, but this is getting a bit fucking extreme, frankly.
Launch Scotland into orbit.
Well, I said, no one is going to die on Mars as a result of Elon Musk. They're all going to die halfway to Mars as a result of Elon Musk.
On the launch pad at this point, surely.
Once
the rocket clears Bluetooth range from the Earth, yeah.
So this is kind of a growing problem because it's not only Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk who are at it, but other companies and states in the European Union and the UK are also at it. So they're expecting more than 10,000 extra satellites to be launched into low Earth orbit in the next decade or so, making it a very crowded place. And there's no global body or anything that has agreements or standards on this, and people are just kind of fucking around. And the reason they're all fucking around is that whoever
they really want to find out.
It is going to be great when we have essentially encased the Earth in a swarm of metal shards that just deletes anything that attempts to leave the atmosphere.
Well, I mean, once again, these satellites are designed to give everybody high-speed, low-drag internet. What we are
right up until the point of impact.
So what we are building,
it's going to be great when a meteorite comes to destroy the Earth, and Do you know what I mean? We can't destroy it because it's just picked up like a fucking shell of armor plating that we like left drifting around like in space. You know what I mean? Just suddenly it lands and it kills everyone with like the million fucking knives it's picked up coming down.
Jamie, but on the plus side, right? As it starts getting closer, your internet connection will improve, and finally you'll get good service from Musknet or whatever. So it's a trade-off that's worth making.
Well, I mean, you say Musknet, so like another.
Yeah, please stop saying fucking Musknet. It sounds incredibly grim.
Well, I mean, is that the bit that's too real for you, Jamie?
Yeah, he needs better branding if that's what he's planning to call it. Like, quite frankly.
I mean, but essentially this is just more Deus Ex shit. Like, we're just building the Illuminati, and they are just building Helios again, and this is just that again.
I'm going to be honest. Musknet works in two different directions, right? Because it's both the internet provider named after Elon Musk, and it's also the net that contains Elon Musk within the planet. So I think it works personally.
Well, speaking of catching people in nets, shall we move on to tonight's viewing experience?
Presumably someone at the FBI is going to end up having to say that one day where they're like, right, we've got to go and get him, fetch the Musk net.
No, I don't think they need a net for that. I think they'll just already have a website that they've been running that's been producing content on the darknet that Elon Musk wants to pay for.
That's a very qualified use of the word content there, I think.
Yeah, I think they'll get him that way. What that content could be, I don't know.
Are you suggesting that apartheid.com is actually a honey trap?
I'm suggesting that the darknet equivalent of apartheid.com specifically tailored to his interests. So
you're suggesting he's into
legal hobbies.
I get that, like.
Oh, fucking hell, man!
Why is it right? Okay, why is it when I crack a joke and I've got a pretty decent one, you then have to put something on the end of it that begs a question and leaves me kind of having to kind of fumble to put something in with it. And yet, when I do jokes that don't have quite a landing punchline, then you just let it hang rather than build on it. Honest to God.
I honestly cannot answer that. Do you know what I mean? Maybe I should go to therapy.
It's like,
Jamie, maybe this is why you need to get back on the Red Bulls.
Yeah, maybe. Your next stop, the libel zone. I'm just waiting until he gets halfway through this and someone shouts
legal hobbies
just because they think it's going to be a good bit, and it won't be. But someone's going to fucking someone's definitely tempted, aren't they? Who is it? Put your hand up.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought
Watch what I do here, right? Yeah, we watched the thing. It's Rob's fault. Rob, tell us about the thing.
No, I can't even make the gag that I could.
Checkmate, motherfucker.
Yeah. We're sorry, Dad. Take us back.
Can we please go to the zoo, David?
Oh. Yeah, so, Rob, tell us about the thing that you made us all watch.
Well, what I've made you all watch, because, I'm just like that sometimes, or often, is a program on Channel 5 called Shoplifters at War with the Law. It aired for 6 episodes last year, and we had a little viewing party and watched the first one, and we all enjoyed it very, very much.
Oh. I like that. The first thing I like is the fucking little subtitle for it. At war with the law, like the people are trying to avoid the fucking law.
Produced by the military wing of the Clash.
I mean, I can't believe that ISIS has infiltrated shoplifting. That's just what the hell about.
I mean, be careful, because the fucking framing of that show strongly wanted to imply it.
Yeah.
Fucking dead.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Settle the fuck down there, Kilroy.
That's a deep cut, motherfucker.
Well, we'll get on to that in a bit, but what we wanted to talk about on this episode was largely the way that the latent fascism that's present in Britain and just that like horrible, extremely British mentality is almost beamed into folks' heads. Like, it really is like designed and manufactured and pumped into every fucking house via the telly.
It is. There's so much ideology at work here, and it just fucking sparkles. It's insane. Like, it's really worrying.
It's terrestrial TV as well, isn't it? Channel 5.
Yeah, Channel 5.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So, the show we watched was a Channel 5 one that aired originally on the prime time slot of Monday night at 9 p.m. All right?
Shit.
Yeah, only the best things are on at Monday at 9. But it feels like we put it on at 9 o'clock so we could do thematic things with it, but like purely aesthetic stuff, because if you took away like some of the scenes where like strong language or whatever is used, that could have been on BBC Two around lunchtime.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's always shit like that on, and it's not just the terrestrial channels either, because you like there's fucking basically like entire channels of shit like that on like Freeview or whatever.
Yeah.
The best one I ever saw while just fucking loafing around at my mate's house one afternoon with like literally nothing to do was
see before you go any further, can we get a rough year on this?
It was this century.
Right, okay.
I mean, it was probably the 2010s, I would think, but
right, okay.
But yeah, like there was a thing on, and it was Australian Border Police or something.
Yes,
yeah, I've seen this.
There's a fucking like the guy that like the border guy has like pulled this fucking lad out of the line for not being white, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and he's taken his credit card out of his wallet and taken it into a back room to put it in the big machine what scans for drugs. And like he puts it in, and it's like just a giant photocopier fucking looking thing, and he puts it in, and it like beeps, and you can clearly see on the fucking little display on the machine, you can clearly see the words error, calibration required. And the guy, just without like missing the beat, just turns to the camera and goes, "Yep, that's come up positive for cocaine."
I think it's important to note before we get started that the stuff we're talking about tonight, the fucking Australian Border Patrol, all that kind of shit tier television, this is the normal part of Normal Ireland. This is the underpinning substrate that it all wells up from. I'm thoroughly convinced of this. After watching this thing tonight. And so it's basically, it comes from the media and is beamed into people's skulls, and that is the root of it. So, with that said, what was this show, Rob? What was it actually focusing on? Like, give us the blow by blow. What was the setup for it?
So, the setup is essentially it's a cheap ass show. So it's a bunch of camera crews following around private security as they detain the greatest threat to Britain today, which is of course shoplifters, and it follows them around some, I don't know, Western or Mare or whatever the fuck, and they arrest really petty, low-level ass.
Let's be clear, they do not arrest anyone.
Sorry. But by the strictest definition, they do arrest them, but they don't actually like have a power of arrest.
Yes.
It's
important distinction, which is given no fucking showing whatsoever in the entire thing.
I mean, in the lead up, like the opening voiceover, it does say something like that shoplifting is one of the big scourges facing modern Britain, and you're supposed to be like,
this was
fuck them.
This was broadcast in 2020, and the opening like unironically described shoplifting as a great epidemic sweeping the nation. And like, there was another one. I can't quite put my finger on what it was at the minute, but I'm pretty sure there was another epidemic sweeping the nation.
Something was going around, wasn't it?
But to be fair, Jamie, the other epidemic only hurt your lungs, which are of course replaceable. This hurts the wallet of corporations, which is sacrosanct.
No,
it hits the public right in the pocket. They said that like
exactly.
3 times.
It does. Sorry, I'm just very
that's
bad.
That's why we need old like fucking Eagle Eye and like Hawkeye and fucking Parrot Eye.
So just to be clear, like Jamie's not
Billy.
Yeah, like you're right, Alistair. Like they introduce their team members, right, and give them like an Avengers style little freeze frame, and like a thing pops up. But rather than like a
famously a device used in the Avengers. You're thinking the Suicide Squad, which honestly, this was on the same fucking level of like entertainment as Suicide Squad.
And to be absolutely clear with what Jamie was just saying there, Eagle Eye and Hawkeye were literally titles or specialties that were given to some of the fucking...
For each one, they listed a specialty, right? And the first one that popped up was Eagle Eye, because the guy's on the cameras in the shopping centre.
There was like 3 or 4 of them with Eagle Eye, and then we got a guy called Hawkeye because we were extra good and we deserved a treat.
Kind of. And there's also other great ones included.
Hawkeye is like the upgraded version, with like he's like a palette swapped version of Eagle Eye. He turned up on like the secret level. Like if you manage to somehow steal a TV from Boots, he's the one they deploy to like fucking get you at the end of the fucking shopping centre.
Stealing a TV from Boots would have actually been more exciting than anything else we saw. Considering I think the most expensive thing that someone stole was a few bottles of drink.
Yeah, and perfume. And that was pretty much it. Yeah, but the other great ones, because I don't.
But they also stole the nation's innocence. And we can't have that.
Stole the nation's one-stop shop for low prices.
But I mean, it is just genuinely madness. I mean,
sometimes when you go down to the shops and they've got like a big fucking cardboard polis in the window. I have more respect for that fucking thing than I do for any of the cunts that were on that program. Like,
so that's the kind of cop respecter you are. Cool.
Yeah, that's me. I respect the cardboard polis in the pound shop window. He just minds his own fucking business. Do you know what I mean?
And he's just happy to be there, you can tell.
Yeah.
I really wanted to tell this to our audience, right, because it's too good, because those weren't the only titles. There were other ones, including specialists, like a skill, specialism. Team leader, right? That was a special skill, team leader. And the other one, which I loved, was chasing down.
Oh, yeah, like Johnny Goosefucker. Yeah, we all remember him. Yeah. There was also the cross-examiner.
Oh, yeah, there was a cross-examiner. That was a good one.
And there was cool.
I imagine they've got that guy, and he's like, you know what I mean? Someone's like, they basically caught that lad from the Mummy shoplifting, the one that's got like all the different religious symbols around his neck that he holds up to try and ward off the mummy. They've caught him, and they need to get the cross-examiner in to work out what they are.
No, that one's a star, David. Mate, I got nothing. I'm a cross-examiner.
Oh, yeah.
My favourite one was a guy called Cool Head. That was his specialty.
Oh yeah, with the fucking the giant bald spot. Yeah. Specialty ventilated cranium, and he's just got like a heat sink coming out of his brain.
Yeah, and they all had guy looking like he was just coming off fucking work experience.
And they all had like little call sign vignettes as well. So like Zulu 1, Zulu 13.
Oh, they pushed the board out there imagination-wise, hadn't they? Every single one of them was Zulu and then a number.
One of them was called Bravo 20.
I mean, it's just incredibly British knockoff of like the American thing where it's like special forces cool.
Yeah, I love to buzz the control tower and telling them that I've encountered tangos and they mean actual tango.
No, genuinely, I was waiting during that for the guy on the cameras when they finally catch one to just put a little call on the radio going tango down, something like that.
Yeah,
that was extremely the energy.
But I mean, we have to admit, these people and all these, this advanced equipment of cameras is very necessary because these days shoplifters are going equipped.
These days,
yeah. It's an escalation. The shoplifters have pairs of pliers to take off price tags. They've got to have 2 mice to control all the cameras. It's like it's a war of escalation.
Look, I do want to, James, I've got to pull you out because it wasn't a mouse; it was a little control stick.
No. One of the
which
guys
is substantially cooler, I presume.
That is true for the first one, but in the second one, they were using
the
mice.
Second shopping mall.
Yeah. you know. And I want to stress to our listener that these guys manning the screens, they very much had the energy of really wants to be a drone strike operative, but didn't make the cut.
Oh,
That's very
they wanted to be a drone strike operative, but there weren't enough salt and vinegar flavour crisps.
Oh yeah. Like, seriously, one of the shots, one of the cool, hard man action shots is they cut to, and the guy gets a message over radio and he's scarfing a bag of Walkers and just kind of, he does that thing where it's like, oh, I need to speak and leaning forward sort of thing, and he's swallowing quickly, and then he like mumbles something in the radio, just inexplicably sandwiched in amongst all the rest of the kind of fash or these are the hard team kind of things. But shout outs to that one security guard who was totally dead in the eyes and clearly bored and done with the entire fucking thing.
To me, though, like the thing they remind me of the most, it's an old essay. It was written in 1941 in the US. I can't remember the author, but it's she describes a parlor game, and the essay is called "Who Would Be a Nazi?"
Yeah,
look it up. It's a very good essay. Essentially, you don't have to play this game. All these people are mini-fash, and if they were given a uniform, they would go fucking hog wild on you.
Can we talk about
been given a uniform? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's basically just. I mean, it is. They are entirely as tragic as you would imagine if you think who's too shit to be in the police.
Yep.
I mean,
you've seen police and they are fucking shit. Like, do you know what I mean? So imagine how absolutely fucking dreadful you've got to be to not make it into the police.
Yeah, like these guys were wearing like body armor. And
they were done up to look as police-like as possible. It was great though, because it's like they're running around in like stab vests, and like in case they have an accident during dinner, and they've got like 20 poppies, like 20 fucking like metal poppy badges on, just as like you know what I mean, some sort of like fucking like chaff arrangement for when like shoplifters fire missiles at them.
So let me. I'm going to cut in here, Jamie, because I want to give a little bit of context, right? Because there were actually two teams followed, because we kind of said there's two control rooms. There were two different teams, two different shopping centers.
Right, yeah.
And the first one was all like tactical deluxe kind of bullshit.
And the second one was the clean shirt brigade, wasn't it?
Yeah, the second one was like ode to the brown shirts kind of approach to like shopping, guard kind of outfits, because they're all in like shirt and tie and like weird zip up kind of not a hoodie thing, but like a cardigan almost sort of style. So looking like naff professional. Like if you imagine the Mormons did door to door by way of the BNP, then you kind of get the vibe essentially.
What I loved is that we ran the full gamut of like fucking of like petty dipshits, where you had like these guys done up in their stab vests with the fucking like security thing on the back. That it's all just meant to evoke the police without actually like being susceptible to claims that you're like impersonating a police officer. Mm-hmm. And then when they met something they couldn't handle, like literally anything. Once they met someone who wasn't like didn't fall for their shit, because it's like they go, "Oh, you've got to come with to the con." No, I don't have to go anywhere with you, mate. You're not police. And then they get the plastic police in, who are also notably not police. And you know what I mean? And then they won't go with them either.
Enforcement officers or shit like that.
Yeah, they won't go with them either, so they have to call the actual police, who just visibly don't want to fucking be there. It's like,
they're just
like, come on, lads, we've got work, like real work to do. Do you know what I mean?
We've got protesters' heads to kick in.
Yeah, we've got actual violence we should be getting on with here. You know what I mean? Can't you handle this yourself?
Wait. Did you say that they stole baby milk? Well, that's a different fucking story.
Yeah, I was going to say, shall we discuss an incident / a crime where or not? Because let's be very clear, this is none of the shit we're talking about is crime. Steal, it's good.
It's crime in the legal definition sense, but it's not crime in the moral sense. In fact, what's being done is a moral outrage, especially with listener, they opened with this one, right? It's not like they started with, here's a guy who's stolen a PS5 or something where you could sort of go, that is taking the piss a little bit.
You keep mentioning like the PS5, but I just want to say, if someone actually steals a PS5 they're my hero.
Honestly, right, I'll fess up.
The best way to get a PS5 is theft, as far as I'm concerned.
I'll fess up, Jamie. I just really want a PS5. That's why it's on my mind. Anyway, go on, Rob. Tell us about these guys.
James, I've got a suggestion for James, which is to do what that kid did and use an onion and go through the self-checkout with one. with a PS4.
I mean, absolute
They're
legend.
watching for that now. That's
That was great. That though, and like the papers were all like, "Oh, it's shocking this," and it's like, "Nah, fair play to the lad." Do you know what I mean? That's using the old noodle.
It's also like very stupid. They didn't have security tags on it, which is how he was able to do that.
Anyway,
and that's like, yeah.
Yeah, so the first crime, and this is the first crime, again, crime in quotation marks, of the first episode. So they really want to set the scene. And what they set the scene with is 3 what they say are Eastern European women. You don't see their faces because they're filtered out. And what they're stealing and why the fucking mini reject fash is after them is literally a bag full of baby clothes and baby formula, milk powder. And
Can I paint a little picture here? Because the way they introduce it, like the framing and the style is a huge part of like fascism, right? So let's set the scene. They frame it with them first seeing them through the security cameras, a trio of women who are in like, you know, they're fully clothed, wearing long skirts, they're wearing like long sleeves. You're
missing the important detail that they were very sure, like make sure you heard in the show, which was that they were Eastern European women.
Yeah. And they're wearing headscarves, you know, sort of thing. And one of them has a stroller and is carrying a bundle, right, that's veiled, okay? And then the other two, we'll get to this. It's really, that's when my blood started to boil. And the other two are just, you know, they're dressed similarly, but no baby or anything, right? And they highlight on the camera, look, these ones are the shifty ones. And then we follow them along the street with the actual officers who are coming to intercept them. And they point at one of them and go, look, she's got a bag under her skirt, sort of thing. And you sort of see a bulge, like in her big billowous skirt that she's wearing. And then they pull them up. And as they're pulling them up, they're like, you know, checking them right there on the street, sort of thing, hassling them, saying, you've got to come with us, sort of thing. And they're checking them on the street, and one of them just walks over and like lifts the bundle to check that it is indeed a child, sort of thing. And, you know, it's really deeply uncomfortable. And the other one is like lifting their top to show they're not covering anything.
It was the whole, like, you got a license for that, baby.
Yeah,
that sort of thing. Like,
but also like sort of partial strip search vibes on the street. As one of them's like lifting the top and all the rest of it, and then pointing. They're pointing to the stuff under the skirt and all the rest of it. And so they drag these 3 women back, and they had baby formula and clothes which are very obviously for the child, like by the size of them. You know, you look at the stuff and it's clearly obvious. It's like, this one's got a baby who's fairly newborn by the looks of it, and they're shoplifting to raise that child, right?
It's absolutely shocking. And I mean, of course, none of these fucking mini fash ever for a moment ask themselves, like, well, why would they be stealing baby formula and baby clothes?
The first time that any one of them shows any sort of emotion at the situation is when one of the women, who's probably going to get fucking deported after getting caught off this, because our system is wonderful and fair, starts crying, and they start going with the whole, oh, leave it off, love. Like, fucking what?
Yeah, and I think it was this one as well, like the voiceover at the end is like, the total heist was worth £54, I think that was this one, or one of the other ones. It's like,
that was one of the other ones. They didn't. I don't think they quantified this one in price.
Probably, but still,
they didn't. That they just didn't bother saying it.
Yeah, and the woman who had the baby, she's fine because she didn't have any goods on her. Though they might do her own conspiracy, maybe according to one of the later ones.
Conspiracy to steal milk.
Yeah, the other two straight up got handcuffed and lifted by the police and were marched out, sort of thing. Because you know, handcuff them because notoriously violent criminals stealing like children's clothes and baby formula, right? So, and again, this is what we lead off with.
It can't be stressed enough. The viewer is extremely meant to feel that these poor 3 women are the bad guys. They deserve it.
Shit.
Yeah.
It's a perfect opening thesis because the subtext to it is, look at these foreigners coming over having kids. It's like pure fast shit.
It's that sort of like, I was about to describe it as like that British thing, but it's like Americans do it as well. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like, right, okay, yeah, so like a policeman in the line of duty like kicked a fucking dog to death and then like shot the owner 47 times. And everyone's like, well, that sounds bad, but we didn't see what happened immediately before that. Maybe he didn't like fucking take his trousers off when the policeman told him to. Did you ever think about that? Your dog wouldn't get kicked to death and you wouldn't be shot 47 times if you just did everything the police asked you to do immediately. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
So
like, as soon as someone like fucking, not even steps outside the law, but as soon as someone like fucking doesn't just like stops fucking like sucking authority's dick for a second,
petty little.
Like, you know what I mean? As soon as anyone does anything that isn't like fucking just like, oh yes, officer, yes, I'll do whatever you say, officer, then they lose all the human rights. That's why like fucking like the big long-term goal of Brexit for all these like fucking all the dickheads in Britain was to like rescind the Human Rights Act. It's not because they actually know anything about human rights or what's contained in the act. It's because they just think that like it's what stops the police from like fucking like, you know what I mean, immediately killing anyone they like catch, like using a fucking like not waiting for the beeps to start before they cross the road at a traffic light or something like that. You know what I mean? It's like it must be the Human Rights Act.
They've heard the Human Rights Act is about human dignity, and they're not in favour of human dignity.
Yeah, but I mean,
they're also not in favour of the people in fucking a TV show like this, or anyone who's ever had a bad brush with, or scare quotes, the law, as though they're human, right?
I mean, yeah, it's the same way you get the fucking fash-lot in the Red Tops and the Telegraph. After the Clapham protests, being that woman deserved to get her head kicked.
Who hasn't had a bad like interaction with the law though? Like, can you imagine how much of a fucking helmet you have to be before like your interactions with the police qualify as good?
I got detained by the police for throwing snowballs. That was a fucking miracle.
They're just the police. They're just absolutely worthless. Like, do you know what I mean? And the only people they're ever nice to are just the worst kind of fucking bootlickers.
The only thing that the police are for is for getting a crime number, and like that's the one interaction I've actually had with the police. Is I got mugged once, and I got a crime number so I could claim off insurance.
I've had so many fucking crime numbers for insurance, mate. Like it's just great. You just ring them up and you just like, oh, there's been can I get a crime number for like this fucking break-in? And they're like, what happened? I'd say, you just don't pretend like you're interested. Just give me the fucking crime number.
You're not going to fucking solve anything.
I haven't got time to give you my life fucking story. We both know you're not going to do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, but specifically in the context of the show,
have I told the carjacking story on the podcast before?
You have.
I have. Yeah,
I think he has, but like, I think it's worth telling again.
You haven't told
not on the podcast. All right.
Has he not? Oh well. Let's go.
So
come on.
I was delivering pizzas once, and the fucking back of the pizza shop was between like it was on a row with like 6 pubs or something. Do you know what I mean?
Jamie, was it buy one get a website free by any chance?
Aye, Grant. Do you want me to tell this fucking story or not? Like, you know what I mean? So like, I'm coming like 10 o'clock on a Saturday night. I'm coming out to deliver some fucking like cheesy chips to some fucking prick, and the car had central locking, but obviously because it's like surrounded by pubs, there's just tons of fucking drunks like milling around. So I go out, unlock the car, put the fucking food in the passenger seat, get in. 2 fucking like giant drunk lads get in the back and demand that I fucking like drive them to some fucking place, and I'm like, get out the car. Well, we'll just take the fucking car off if you're going to be a prick. And I'm like, right, fair enough. So I drove them to the police station, right? And I fucking pull up in the yard behind the police station where all the cop cars are, blasting the horn. No fucking response. Get out, and I fucking bray on that. Like I park. Luckily there's a child seat in the back of the car on the passenger side. So I park with the driver's side of the car up against a wall and scramble over the passenger seat to get out. And while they're like fighting to get past the child seat to get out of the car, braying on the door at the police station, no fucking answer. So I have to run round the fucking block to the front of the police station and ring the bell. And a guy, like the sergeant comes out, and I say to him, 2 lads try to nick me fucking car. They're in the yard at the back. He goes away, and he comes back like 2 minutes later with a form. And I'm like, did you fucking get them? And he's like, oh, you meant out the back of here? I'm like,
no, out the back of Texas.
Yeah, what the fuck? Like, what do you think? And he goes out and you go, oh, they've gone, mate, but they've trashed your car. I'm like, do you fucking think? Do you know what I mean? It was just absolutely. And then when I was driving back to the pizza shop to get like a new lot of food for the fucking guy, because the first lot was smeared all over the interior of my fucking car, I passed the 2 guys just casually walking back to the taxi rank. So I had to ring the police from the fucking pizza shop and go, like, I know you don't care, but the 2 fucking guys I just reported are like just casually strolling like back to the town centre. And the cops were like, oh, we'll see what we can do. And I never heard anything else about it. You know what I mean? It just, literally delivered like 2 fucking people in the process of committing a crime to the police, and they didn't catch them. It's like they're just incredible, like, you know what I mean?
Would you call that? Would you call that a radicalizing moment, Jamie?
I mean, it's not the first time the police had ever been completely fucking useless in my presence, like. But yeah, I mean, it was one of the more extreme incidences, like.
And we have to stress, like, the people we're talking about in this show, Shoplifters at War with the Law, are worse and more useless than those guys. Like, there's just, I can't.
I mean, they were the people that didn't make the grade for the "we can't catch like criminals even when delivered to the station" brigade. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
and the reason we're being told, like, because you do start to wonder, like, you know, why do we have to give a shit about people shoplifting some powdered milk and some baby clothes or a bottle of cheap perfume or whatever the fuck? And the reason we're being told that we have to care about this, and this is how it's sold to you by the voiceover, is if stuff gets nicked, then that gets added onto the cost of the general price in the store. So the more stuff gets nicked, the more
which is just a bald-faced fucking lie.
Yeah.
Like, it's completely like ludicrous. I mean, like the last lady who like took a bunch of what was it, perfume and like cologne or whatever. I mean, that shit costs like pennies to produce. Like, it's not.
If you steal a bunch of like fucking Maryland cookies and energy drinks from Tesco, then that reduces the amount of stuff Tesco have to put in a padlocked skip at the end of the day. So, you know what I mean? It all adds up.
I mean, it's truly revolting. I mean, there's a scene later on where some woman has nicked some stuff. She's bought some stuff from Poundland and she's nicked some stuff from Tesco's or the other way around. And like, they make this whole thing, like they empty the bag and there's a whole thing. And she's like, it's literally a couple of bottles of Dr. Pepper and like some Doritos or something. And
it was 2 bags of Doritos, a few bottles of like fizzy drink, and like half a dozen packs of Maryland cookies that she'd like stolen. And it was like that was the one that was like 54 quid. And it's like, fine, go on your way, mate. Like,
she
also
stole something that was actually very expensive. And in fact, she absolutely justified the treatment.
Was it the innocence of the nation?
I mean, I think that's what Tesco are calling their new range of bowls and like sauces. So yeah, like she had like what looks like a little milk jug, a little bowl, and a little saucer. You know, the things you need to eat. You know,
the things you need to fill with Dr. Pepper, so you've got something to dip your Doritos into.
Yeah.
So you've been watching those American cooking TikTok videos, then, I see.
Yeah, I'm going to do an omelette in a bag of crisps. Yeah. maybe that's what that guy was eating while he was on the cameras. It was like a fucking crisp packet of omelette.
Yeah, that was his packed lunch, clearly.
And then there's a scene after that with one of the guys, one of the shoplifters in the second mall, in the really B-rated mall, who's just like gone off to town and like started traumatizing a teenager for like trying to nick a shirt or something. It's
that absolute gargoyle of a fucking security guard. He's definitely got a history of
being nice.
This guy, I think this guy was the top scorer for number of poppies, which was in the 3 to 4 region. So
yeah, he had 4. I remember for sure, and he also had a few other pins that I didn't recognize. But definitely, they had the same vibe as poppies.
Every one of them said respect.
And just literally and spiritually extremely bald man. Like, he's definitely been on a number of question times as well. Like, that's
terminally bald. Aye.
He gave me the fucking creeps. Like, Jamie, when Jamie talks about that guy. Yeah. No, that
guy was fucking loving every second he got to intimidate that kid.
Smirk and grin. Not like a grin, because if it was like an open grin, you could at least say, all right, you're a total bastard. No, it's the smothering the grin and a kind of smirking kind of thing, because he's really enjoying it.
You'll be shocked to your very cause to realize, like, when you hear that I genuinely like fucking people like that with that whole sort of like, oh, well, what have you got to say for yourself attitude, like, just fucking wind me up like nothing else. Do you know what I mean?
Basically,
that guy couldn't get into the police, and like probably at some point applied to be a teacher as well, I'd imagine, because he just lives to fucking like talk down to people who don't have any like recourse to answer back. Do you know what I mean?
The nasty bit with the kid, right? So there's a kid who has put on a top and tried to walk out, and the tag has caught. He didn't realise it had a tag on it, and it's went beep, 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 and he's been detained by the shop staff. But he's like, I don't know, 12 or something like this. He looks young, right? He's a
14,
kid.
whatever, but yeah.
And this guy turns up, and he pulls him aside, and he starts giving him grief and all the rest of it, and he decides he actually shows a tiny bit of humanity, probably because the cameras are on him, and he wants to look good. And he says, I'll tell you what, right, here's how this is going to work. I'm not going to write it up formally, but you're going to give that back, you're going to apologise to them, and then you're not going to come here for a year, you're banned. And if you come back in a year, then I'll take you in the back room, and I will take it in the back room, and we'll do it formally or something like this.
Do it officially.
Yeah, do it officially, right? The kid, understandably, because he's a fucking kid, is like, oh, well, do I have to, can I not apologise, and can I not come? And he's like, hey, you're giving me lip. And he starts in with that, like, I'm doing you a favour kind of thing, to this kid. And really, like, and the whole time he's talking to him, he's got his hand on his shoulder, kind of, looking down at him.
And he's properly, like, leaning into his face as well.
Yeah, it's really extremely gross.
Yeah.
Do you know who he reminded me of? If someone tried to do like a fucking like a human version of that eagle from the Muppets.
And then it's an incredibly gross scene. I think none of us can stress enough how fucking gross and offensive and just awful that scene is. And then after that, the voiceover goes, but I can't remember the fucking guy's name. Let's say Tony. Adolf. Adolf can't remember, was once up to no good when he was a youth.
Oh, yeah. He used to go scrumping with permission.
Yeah, he's like, we used to go scrumping, but with permission, of course, because I can't imagine not asking the owner for permission. And then he has this incredibly self-satisfied
it's the exact same energy as Theresa May's like Fields of Wheat thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was a fucking hellraiser when I was younger. I once parked on the curb.
And then he says, and that's the end. And it
used to go out with my jacket collar popped.
The thing that got me. The thing that made me really go ugh is he says during that, oh, but that's nothing like stealing from a shop. If I'd done that when I was a kid, I don't know, I wouldn't be here now, would I? And it's just like
the lofty heights of a fucking security guard at a shopping centre.
That was it for me. It's like, I wouldn't be here today. And like, you're the fucking mall security guard. What the fuck? Like, your great accomplishment. What he means is, if I have been caught stealing, I wouldn't have this little micro pellet of power and domination over other people that I intend to exploit to the fucking maximum. I am a psychopath.
Go easy on the lad, though. It can't be easy living life not being good enough to be a cop or a teacher. You know what I mean? Imagine if you just get up every day and you do what you're told and you follow all the rules like everyone tells you to, and you work hard, and the fucking highest you ever achieve is Paul Blart. I would absolutely eat a fucking gun at that point, like, you know what I mean? No
you're not allowed a gun,
asked,
Jamie.
like,
no, you're a
that's why they don't allow them fucking guns. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
because otherwise, like, the inside of Tesco would just look like a Jackson Pollock.
I'm just picturing Jamie, the security guard, just walking into Tesco, stealing a price tag gun and just like trying to off himself with it out of sheer desperation.
I mean, that's why all the teeth were fucked up. Do you know what I mean? Just trying to get the stickers off after they've accidentally like fucking just slapped sale tags all over themselves.
That was purely down to them suffering from the other British disease, they're comorbid, unfortunately.
And we were trying to do the math on this as well, right? Because say the Western Shopping Centre, I don't know, during high season or whatever the fuck it is, they can arrest up to 10 shoplifters a day. So, like, I don't know, let's say they steal, let's be generous and they steal.
They actually said, they said on the programme that's up to £1,000 a day.
Yeah.
What they said. But up to is doing a hell of a lot of lifting in that sentence.
Yeah.
And I mean, there were at least how many Zulus were there? 1, 12, 13.
Well, I mean, what realistically could people be taking from the pound shop to come up to £1,000 a day? Do you know what I mean? It's got to be the low end of up to.
Fucking
unless someone's trying to walk out with the tills or something like that.
Even then, like a pound shop till's probably not got £1,000 in it at any given moment. They'll change it over quite regularly. So anyway,
they'll be empty well before that point. But yeah.
Yeah, and we were trying to do the math on this. So okay, so let's just assume for giggle's sake it's £1,000 a day. There were at least 6 or maybe 8 security guards on duty.
Well, here's the thing. I was thinking about this. If their Zulu call signs aren't just made up for the show, which was a pretty good chance there isn't, one of them was Zulu 14, which implies the existence of 13 other fucking Zulus. Unless it's another thing you can do with pigs where you write 1, 2, and 4 on them. And
they let you pick your own numbers, and he just went with his wife's age because it was easy to remember.
No, he went with 14, and his best mate went with 88. That's clearly what happened.
Look, Jamie's answer still doesn't still apply there, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's a double whammy for him.
So, but however many there are, it does not. You're paying much more to employ these small league fascists than you do just letting people nick some shit out of the store. It's just it's demonstrably more expensive to keep these fucking psychos around.
It's really quite great to just look at things as banal as a supermarket doing pure unadulterated ideology, because the concept of property and ownership is so paramount in, our society as a whole that not only is it worth hiring a bunch of security guards to essentially do no work, or no work of value, I should say, it is apparently worthwhile to put this shit on national television, on terrestrial television no less, because it's of such importance in a primetime slot for you to see how people who infringe even slightly on the concept of property and ownership should be treated.
And because that's sort of the central point, isn't it? It's about property, because it is meant to show you and everybody else that the thing you can't touch and the thing that is inviolate is property. Never mind if it's literally a bottle of fizz from Poundland or some whatever cheap perfume which is inflated beyond all reason. The reason you have these psychos and the reason we have the police, once again, is just to defend capital. And it's just to say private property is sacred, and if you don't, then this fucking weirdo with his grey teeth is going to come to you and talk to you about scrumping and probably fucking do you a psychological injury while you're at it. And it's just, I think this show really does demonstrate how we get to this fucking psychotic state that we're in now.
Do you know what it is though? I've just had a realization where what you end up doing as a fucking job, if you fail to get into the police, you fail to become a teacher, and then you fail to become the fucking Paul Blart guy at Poundland, is Darren Grimes.
I was literally just thinking Darren Grimes.
Do you know that scrumping story has been sticking with me, because there's another element to that, because part of the whole Brexit fascist thing is looking back to a golden time sort of thing. And here's this guy saying, I used to go and, we used to steal pears and apples with permission kind of thing. It definitely feels like that's picked out and highlighted and possibly made up just to kind of stress this whole fucking bygone golden age. Not like the fucking terrors we've got today, stealing baby formula.
It will be bygone as well, because after the climate wars, you know what I mean? They'll have to scrump cyber apples. And they'll all come with a fucking tag attached. So,
I mean, yeah, it just a glimpse into the mind of the small fascist, and fucking terrifying.
Well, I mean, let's call this show what it is, which is fucking propaganda, right? It's again to as I said a minute ago, just to demonstrate to you what people who infringe on property and ownership, this is how they should be treated. They are less than human. They should be threatened and browbeaten and treated like absolute dog shit, even if you're just stealing to fucking feed your child and clothe your child. that's no excuse. And don't give me those tears, even though you are probably fucking terrified if you're, staring down. You don't know what the fuck, especially if you as those women didn't seem to have a strong grasp of English. You're going to be confused and scared. And at no point in the show is there any modicum of how these people are feeling as human beings. It's all derisive and deserved, apparently.
See, the thing is, right, I don't watch fucking much broadcast TV. I don't have a fucking TV in my room. I've got my computer. I can't be arsed sitting watching fucking shit like that if I can just find whatever the hell I want.
You should steal one from Boots.
I should. But thinking back on it, this is like that was shocking to me to watch, and like how just fucking blatant it was. But if I think back to other weird shit that's been on, that's like not quite that level of obvious fucking propaganda, but like on its way to being it, like fucking Jeremy Kyle. And
David, the same ilk of TV show was like advertised at the very fucking end. It was what was it? Grand Theft Auto, something or other,
UK and fucking crime
traffic cops. Was
it?
Traffic
cops, aye, that kind of shit. I mean, but we've always had that kind of stuff, right? But
we've always had James O'Brien's talk show.
Oh yeah, that's it. Fucking Kilroy. Like that shit's always fucking been there.
There was.
I can remember incredibly hyper fast show.
I can remember seeing something like this, like getting wasted around at my mate's house when I was at uni, and there was something on about fucking the Eastern Europeans, they're coming over here and they're doing like crimes with mobile phones, because mobile phones are like, the late 90s, mobile phones are relatively new. What if we told, everyone loves their new mobile phone, but what if we told you Eastern Europeans could do crimes with them? And like just being incredibly annoyed that they hadn't called that program The Phone Loving Criminals.
I mean, see, if you catch something during the day, if you happen to fucking turn the TV on in the middle of the day during the week, you're going to find some show about fucking how sad the bailiffs are about how the struggles of their job.
That's bailiff. Bailiff is below Darren Grimes on the pyramid of knowledge, isn't it?
How hard the struggles are for the lowly border force operative that fucking just absolutely destroys people's lives at the airport.
I think it kind of goes, right, bailiff, mall cop, community enforcement officer, border patrol, police, in terms of like the rising hierarchy of just complete villains. And the further down you are that scale, the more mean, petty and disgusting they fundamentally are in the way they treat desperate people.
But the further down the scale you go, the more poppies you wear on your flak vest.
Yeah. One at the very bottom, their flak vest is like a giant metal poppy. That's their stab vest.
The very bottom of the pyramid is that guy that come out at half time.
Impervious to all known munitions.
Like, we've always been coming to this point with this kind of program, and it's always going to be getting to this fucking stage where we are shown how awful the people who steal a couple of quid for shops are. Like,
or literally steal food for their baby. I mean, that cannot be stressed enough.
Yeah, like, it's always been coming to that point. And guess what? The ride's not over yet. It's only going to get worse. Wait until we've got, like... I can't even fucking comprehend what the next level of this is.
Can I interject, actually? Because I feel like I need to stand up for those women. Not only, right, you said, Rob, stealing food for their baby. No, stealing food and clothing for their friend's baby, because the one with the baby didn't get arrested.
Yeah.
It was
what I mean. I don't care if it's for their child.
Jesus, fuck.
This is why I'm pointing it out. Hang on. This is why I'm pointing it out. They were taking a risk with the law to help out their friend who's a new mother. This is even worse, Go on, David. What's so bad?
No, I've just realised what the next thing's going to be.
Comment or commentary, yeah?
No, well, yes, that is what we're about to go into, but no, it's the trials and tribulations and the struggles that the people who they asked to go and clear out the traveller camps and the struggles that they have, and the scrapes they get into because of the unruly travellers. That's the next one. Have a look out for it. BBC fucking
You're right. That's exactly it. There'll be the travel enforcement officers or some shit like this with their, do you have your traveller's passport papers and all this kind of shite. That's exactly what it's going to be. And you're going to get some gurning fuck who's standing on the TV going, personally, I've got nothing against travellers when they abide by the law. But you've got to look here. I mean, look at the damage they've done to this site. That fence post used to be directly upright, and now it's sitting at a 45-degree angle and all this kind of shit.
Yeah, the revolution won't be televised, but the pogroms will be. Fucking hell.
Jesus. Oh, fuck, yeah. Okay. Oh, fuck.
Well, on that bleak note, shall we...
I think I've worked out what the very bottom of the fucking, knobhead pyramid is. It's people who signed up to clean for the Queen.
Yes. Yes.
There must have been a TV show about that as well at some point, do you know what I mean? Some fucking guy with, one of those spiky sticks for litter just getting, called a prick by kids in the park. For 12 hours.
I'll go one lower than you, Jamie. I've got it. It's not just the one who signs up to clean for the Queen. It's the one who signs up to be the regional organizer for Clean for the Queen, right? The guy who's coming out there to boss around other people who want to bootlick. That's it. That's the absolute idiot.
The middle management of bootlicking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway. Normal Island re-established as such. Yeah, I suppose we'll... it's not a palate cleanser, but we'll do some comment or commentary at.
Yeah, let's...
Rub some salt in those wounds.
Is it themed this week?
It is not themed this week, no, because I am now on holiday and I am lazy. So I just did the bare minimum requirement and got some comment or commentary.
As you should,
from various sources. Yes, too right. Working is bad, folks, don't do it.
Yeah, far better to be like me and lose all the jobs you have and then just stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning fucking around on the Viking game.
And eating crisps, Jamie. Let's be fair.
Yeah. Oh well, I mean, obviously you can't it takes a lot out of a man to go Viking. You need to keep
You say you've not got a job, but you could easily get a job on the cameras being Eagle Eyes.
Oh yeah,
you've got to get the pack of crisps.
You know what I mean?
Right.
We doing Vikings?
Actually, though, I wear glasses, so I don't qualify for Eagle Eye. Do you know what I mean?
Oh.
We doing Vikings after this, Jamie?
Aye, sounds like a plan.
Grand.
You could be Eagle Eye Diversity Hile.
Just fucking echolocating off the monitors and stuff.
Oh, right. Okay.
Call sign Specky 12.
Right. Before we move on, sorry, David. What would all our call signs be if we were in one of these centres?
KIA 1, KIA 2, KIA 3.
Well, Jamie's already got his, which is Cop Respects a 420.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do some comment or commentary and finish off this episode. So,
yeah.
I doubt anyone could win the next general election for Labour. They're starting from so far behind that unless the Tories completely implode, it's just too far to make up. So Starmer's job is to stabilise a Labour Party that seemed more interested in infighting than winning an election, making them acceptable to the centre ground and handing a party with the potential to win over to his successor. Comment or commentariat?
Commentariat, and also whoever it is getting told to fuck off. As soon as you tell me who it is, I'm on their Twitter.
Commentariat, and it's not Polly Tonybee, is it?
I'm gonna. It's a comment from The Guardian because it does have that vibe as well.
I'm gonna say commentariat, The New Statesman.
Interesting.
Ooh. It was a comment, and it was from The Guardian.
It's fucking the fucking king strikes again. All right.
Mm-hmm. We who spend too much time down in the mines cannot escape the mines.
I'm just Jamie now is furiously going on The Guardian's comment section, trying to track him down.
Absolutely,
Just
signing up for an account. Signing up for an account as we speak.
Okay. Mr. Huddleston warned that the Prime Minister may not be able to end restrictions on June 21st if the public take liberties with Monday's easing of the curb on outdoor gatherings. Excuse me, the only people taking liberties here are ministers and scientists who delay giving freedom back to its rightful owners.
Is this Toby
Fears
Young?
of a third wave feel like a scare story to keep the populace cowering. Comment or commentary.
This is Toby Young, isn't it?
Toby Young, yeah, yeah, it's got to be.
I'm going commentariat. I'm not going Toby Young because I don't think he would be. I think that's a little too sharply critical in places.
It's Toby Young, though.
I think it's no. Sorry, Jamie, you go. James, you go first.
I was going to say it feels like a caliper bother, but it doesn't feel like Toby Young.
I think it's
all calipers lead back to Toby Young. Let's be honest.
Oh, I think it's Is it an opinion piece by Lawrence Fox?
That's a strong one.
Okay. Well, it is commentariat. It was Alison Pearson in the Telegraph.
What's her position on calipers?
Pro, probably,
good,
I would
actually.
imagine. Okay. If there is going to be a form of ID for the vaccine, it should be universally accepted. Pubs, holidays, travel.
ID. Sorry, I thought you said IED.
Yeah.
I was like...
A form of improvised explosive device.
We're not doing the explosive water episode anytime soon.
That'd be
I bet that fucking shifts your coronavirus, though.
It'd be a hell of a way to wage war on the anti-vaxxers, catching them by surprise with improvised, vaccination devices.
If there is going to be a form of ID for the vaccine, it should be universally accepted. Pubs, holidays, travel, whatever. As for
is this fucking Tony Blair again?
As for not British, nor is living with a pandemic, let's hope they'd be a temporary measure, as hopefully lockdowns and restrictions are on normal life. Comment or commentary out.
That stinks of Tony Blair.
Imagine shagging ID cards.
Yeah, it feels... it's not him, but it feels like a David Blunkett-esque kind of thing. It's in that kind of New Labour, yes, this is an opportunity to get our fucking ID
Are you sure it sounds
cards.
like David Blunkett? There was nothing in there about single mothers.
He would have said that we should just machine gun people with the.
He would. I bet he would have fucking loved that. Fucking cop mall cop fucking show. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, that would be his late night fuck show.
It's commentariat because it feels like it's pushing an agenda, and it feels like a tabloid.
I'm going to say comment just to be contrarian.
Okay. That was.
Hang on, commentariat, the Mail.
Right. Okay. That was a comment in the Daily Mail.
Oh, right. Well, okay.
That's pretty good.
Got the vibe, if not the reality.
Definitely got the vibe. I love that fucking not British part. It's just fucking beautiful.
Yeah,
it's not British to live with a pandemic.
Yeah, that's the part that made me feel like, tabloid kind of Daily Mail-esque part. But, oh well. As above the fold, so below. Let's go, David. What's next?
I understand the focus on Starmer, but the real issue for Labour's electability is sorting out their campaigning members. During the last election, a burly chap knocked on our door and, before she could say anything, shouted at my partner for 5 minutes till she was able to politely close the door. On most days, Twitter is even worse. This never kissed the Tory mentality.
Yeah,
commentariat.
Engage and persuade needs to be the two themes of
Commentariat
Starmer's
with the
leadership.
cleanest fucking
David, just
shirt
stop.
we've ever
Commentariat.
Are we all saying commentariat?
Yeah, we're all saying commentariat.
Right.
seen. Yeah.
Okay. That was a comment in The Guardian.
but we need a rule here. I'm serious. We need a rule whereby Guardian is wannabe commentariat if it's a comment in the Guardian, right? We seriously do, because we're all trying so hard, and it's skewing our numbers. It's unfair. The petite commentariat.
That's the game. That's the game. I don't make the rules. I do, actually, so.
I was going to say, yeah, I'm pretty sure you did, like.
Well, apparently don't hate the player, hate the game that the player wrote, I guess. Right, fine, let's go.
This is a bit of a long one, right, but it is the last one, so bear with me. Brussels has come up with a fresh wheeze designed to slow down any resolution by insisting
Who says a wheeze? Really? Is this from the Beano?
This feels...
Because you're a cop. Legally, you have to tell us if we ask if it's from the Beano.
This is one of two things, right? It's commentariat, and it's either the Times or Private Eye.
Right, let me get to it.
Keep reading about wheezes.
Right, Brussels has just come up with a fresh wheeze designed to slow down any resolution by insisting no trade talks can go ahead until all relevant documents are translated into the 24 different official languages used across member states. Well, two can play at that game. When it comes to translating official documents into dozens of different languages, Britain leads the world. The recent census was made available in no less than 49 languages, many of them scribble. It is estimated that there are 300 different languages spoken in London.
Fuck me running.
I pray for death at this point.
Is declare that, while artificial trade barriers remain in place, nothing can be imported from the EU unless its description and instructions are written in all of those languages, complete with the correct punctuation. That would make the Europeans sit up and take notice.
Let's declare a trade war with Europe. That's a perfectly sane thing to do.
Not only declaring a trade war.
I am not fucking finished here. Imagine if
declaring
BMW...
a trade war as a grammar Nazi. Literal grammar Nazi.
Imagine if BMW couldn't flog a single 3 Series in Britain unless the handbook came in 300 different languages, including
300 now, is it?
Twi, spoken by people in southern Ghana, and Tagalog, spoken by flower pot men. Comment or commentariat.
This is fucking. This is going to be like fucking Lidl or some shit, isn't it? It's going to be one of the superstars.
Yeah,
I don't know. This isn't really his language, but it could
I'm going to say. I'm going to say.
It might not be Lidl, but it's one of it's someone when if it's a comment, then fair play to whoever wrote like such a fucking long comment. They should just start their own newspaper. Yeah, I've got a feeling it's going to be. It's going to be commentariat, and when we hear the name, we're all going to go, "Oh, that fucking prick, is it?"
It definitely is started, and I was like, "Oh, Times." And he's going on, and I'm like, "Oh, no, Observer." But as he keeps going on, I'm like, "No, we're going lower shelf in this. The longer this goes on."
I'm going to say comment purely because of the use of the word scribble to describe some languages, which I am optimistically saying wouldn't make the cut in something like, I don't know, The Spectator or Spike.
Very optimistic
fuck off,
of you.
like, do you know what I mean? I think if you were this racist and you were writing a comment, you would have gone like full fucking tilt. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? This is someone trying to like, do you know what I mean? Shoehorn their fucking racism through like the cracks of acceptability.
Yeah, it's racism, but we're using a bit of ironic humour, so it's not really racism, and that definitely feels like it's kind of trash, kind of tier conservative tabloids. So,
also, it made like references stuff from like I mean, who references the fucking flower pot man?
And who uses wheeze? It's definitely this feels artful. If it was a bit, I'd say it's a very, very sharply written one, but it's not a bit.
Whoever it is, I think we can safely say it's your dad.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna conclude with. Fuck it. I'm gonna say son.
Ooh. Okay.
I think it's this Dan Hanna, former MEP, writing in the Telegraph.
Okay.
I think it's too low rent for the Telegraph.
No, the Telegraph's very fucking. When it comes to the EU, they have no bottom floor.
Do you think? Okay, I'll defer to your judgment on that, but let's see. Go on, David.
That was commentariat. It was the Daily Mail. and it was by Richard Littlejohn.
Well, of course it was.
Of course it fucking was.
We overthought it. We We weren't. We should just. It's obviously it's that wanker.
Yeah. That cunt. That. Yeah. No, JB absolutely fucking nailed it.
Well,
does Richard Littlejohn have a Twitter?
Oh, fucking ready to find out.
Jesus Christ, what an episode.
Yeah, so...
Our future is looking so bright and so good.
Yeah, you can tell, like, that show pissed us all off so much that we're fucking, like, tearing at each other out of, like, the inability to do anything. All we really want is to fuck with that guy who was so horrendous on the actual program, and we can't do that, so instead we've been fucking with each other.
Yeah. Unless it turns out he's got a Twitter.
Oh, please. Please let him have a Twitter. I'd love to set
Little
Jamie
John
on him.
No, I don't think so.
No, I mean the cop guy in the episode.
Oh, the cop guy? Yeah, that'd be... yeah. No, probably not.
Yeah.
All right, shall we call it?
I think we shall call it, yeah. We will see you all next week for some kind of episode. We haven't decided on that one yet. And then we have...
guests?
Yeah, we have some guests coming up this month anyway. More to follow on that. Just keep an eye on the Twitter at PraxisCast. And I will catch you later.
Yeah. Goodbye. Oh, and buy our shit on Teespring.
Also, yes, bye.
Thanks, bye.
Bye.